Hello, Fusion Nation. My name is Alex Fuse, the host of Fusion News. Today is January 9th, 2018, and we have another great three shows today for you on Fusion News. But before I introduce my next guest on tonight's show, are you a subscriber of Fusion News? And if not, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button right now to subscribe and join the Fuse Nation. And now another great guest on tonight's show, Joe Rivera from Sporting News. Joe, how are you doing tonight?
Alex, I'm doing well. How are you, my friend?
Good. Thanks again for joining me on tonight's episode. And we'll be talking some MLB offseason. I know there's not a lot, some wrestling, WWE, and just a few other topics. So, Joe, first of all, the Yankees got Giancarlo Stanton this offseason. What else do you think this Yankee team needs to do before spring training rolls around in just a few weeks?
That's a good question, Alex. I think the biggest hole for them right now is at third base. There's been some talk that they're going to let Miguel Andujar, one of their top prospects, man third base this year. But I still think they need a good veteran presence there and covering the Yankees this past season, especially during the playoffs, the postseason. You saw how much Todd Frazier meant to this team. He was the energy guy. He was the positivity in the clubhouse. He just had a blast, and you could tell he rubbed off on guys. So if the Yankees can get him back on a cheaper deal, I know that they're up against that luxury tax they don't want to go over. I think that's a home run for them, no pun intended. I really think that he would be kind of that last piece to a championship run team. But aside from that, the rotation's set, the bullpen looks good, and their lineup is, with the addition of Stan, it's crazy. So, but aside from third base, I don't really see much else that they're going to do.
You can always add a starter pitcher, but like he said, I feel like this rotation is set now that they definitely have CC Sabathia to help out whatever role the Yankees need him to fill. But back to Todd Frazier. What are the chances if the Yankees signed Todd Frazier? He came out today and he's looking for a long-term deal, multi-year deal. But the Yankees, I think, have stated they just want someone for 1 year. And like you said, Andujar, I think he's almost ready. They're worried about his defense. But I feel like 1 year of Todd Frazier could be the perfect fit for this Yankee team. It's just whether or not Todd Frazier wants that because he has met with other teams recently.
Yeah, and I like Frazier a lot, and especially it's a little tough because you don't want to give him a long deal. But I think if you can give him 2 years, there's really no downside there. And maybe you can trade him next season, on a cheaper deal. You don't want to give him 4 years. You don't want to give him 5 years, just because his production hasn't been there as of late. But never been one to anchor a lineup. He's always been a better player in a better lineup. You saw that in his early years with Cincinnati and, down with the White Sox in Chicago. He wasn't great because there wasn't a great lineup around him. But if you put that around him now, I think he's a better player, and I think he would be worth the money. So, again, you don't want to give him a long-term deal. I think the longer offseason goes, the better a chance Frazier has to re-sign in New York, especially on a cheap deal if the market's not there. But aside from him, there's really nobody else. I mean, people talk Moustakas, but I don't see a long-term deal with Moustakas and the Yankees there either. So, yeah, I think Frazier's a smart pick on a 1 year deal if he wants to, if he feels unfinished business here. It makes a lot of sense for both parties.
Joe, the Yankee rival, the Red Sox, they have been basically, I've been saying this for a long time, they're in hibernation this offseason, it feels like. They aren't making any moves. But do you feel like this Red Sox team needs another move? I feel like they need a power bat in this lineup. They're getting David Price back. David Price was a missing piece from that Red Sox team last year. He can add stuff to this team. Do you feel like the Red Sox need to add another power bat in that lineup, or do you think they're set for 2018?
I think they do. I think they definitely need the power. When you look at their outfield, they really don't have the power in the outfield. Jackie Bradley Jr. is still kind of a question mark as to what he'll be offensively. I know what you're going to get with Mookie Betts. And Benintendi, even though he slumped a good part of the year last year, he finished strong. You don't really have a lot of power in the outfield. And as far as the rest of their position players go, you're really not getting that there either. It's something that was missing the second that David Ortiz retired. They didn't really have a backup plan for his power. They thought maybe, Pablo Sandoval, we know how that went. So it's tough to say where they're going to get that bat from because at this point, they're really running dry when it comes to prospects. They either don't have the prospects to trade, or the ones that they do have, they don't want to trade. Ready run the well dry, as to say. So, yeah, I think they need another power bat. I don't know where they're going to get it from. Maybe they make a splash in free agency if they want to add some more payroll. I just don't see that happening. But maybe, there's a lot of talk with JD Martinez. I think that's a fit there, but yeah, I don't see them making a splash. It depends where Martinez lands. He's probably the guy, but aside from that, there's no power on this roster. There's no power bat in the outfield on this roster that makes a lot of sense.
Joe, we'll switch gears now and talk some WWE. The Women's Royal Rumble match, the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match, is just a few weeks away, and there's some rumors going around the WWE that Ronda Rousey, top MMA star, UFC star, is coming to the WWE. She was there at WrestleMania for a quick appearance. Actually seen her in a match. Do you feel like she could be in the WWE and in this Royal Rumble match as a surprise entrant?
I think she could definitely make it. I mean, we've been hearing the talks for about a year and a half now, right? That Rousey might be making her debut at some point, and it's a move that makes sense from a business standpoint. It's a move that makes sense from Rousey's standpoint. She's going to get a big paycheck, but the question is how, and I hate to use it, how the WWE universe is going to react to her. Because make no mistake, if you sign a star like Rousey, she's there to be the star. She's there to be the one that's going to carry that division. And it's tough to say where or who she's going to be supplanting, because Bayley was supposed to be that star, and she ran out of a lot of steam. And Alexa Bliss is supposed to be that star, and she's good. And Asuka's supposed to be that star, but she's being poorly booked now on the main roster. So if Rousey does show up, she's going to be there to be that star. Whether it's a full-time thing where she'll be there a lot or a part-time thing, that remains to be seen. I think it makes more sense from a part-time standpoint, but I think that it makes sense for the WWE. It makes sense for Rousey, but I'm not sure if the fans really want to see it or how they'll take to her.
Joe, when they bring in these part-time wrestlers, I'm not a fan of the part-time wrestlers. I like the one-match Undertaker. I'm not a fan of the champion Brock Lesnar. He shows up 4 pay-per-views out of the year, and he's still the champion. But like you mentioned, you had a great point about bringing Rousey in. That's going to be the star. I also have a problem with bad booking. If there's a star in NXT, and when they get called up to the main roster, I want to see them being used the way they were in NXT. You mentioned Asuka. They're really being underutilized right now on the main roster, and it worries me. And especially when you look at SmackDown, look at Shinsuke Nakamura. He hasn't had a great year on the main roster.
Yeah, I agree entirely. And I think as fans and as somebody who analyzes this now, you kind of just have to look at NXT not only as its own separate brand, but even as its own separate company, right? Mm-hmm. Because to come up, you mentioned Nakamura and you mentioned Bayley, and we spoke about Bayley, and now Ruby Riott is the latest one where she came up, and they're just not being welcome at all on the main roster. It's a weird fit too that the Riott Squad on SmackDown. It's just 3 random women seemingly stuck together. There's seemingly no chemistry between them. But yeah, you have, like I said, you have to look at it even as its own company. It's not. NXT is usually not what you're going to get on the main roster now, and that's a huge shame, because a guy like Bobby Roode, who was called up, or Nakamura that was called up, and they were red hot when they got called up, you just didn't see that momentum on the main roster, and that's a shame, because that's, at the end of the day, for WWE, that's dollars that they're missing, man, and if they can't figure out how to get those guys used and booked on the main roster, they're just wasting away.
I definitely agree with you on that standpoint, but Joe, WrestleMania season, the road to WrestleMania is upon us, just a few weeks away. What do you want to see main event WrestleMania besides the feud that they've been planning for the past few years between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar for the Universal Champion? What other headline match do you want to see? Do you want to see a John Cena versus Undertaker, a Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte? What do you want to see?
It's tough. It's tough to say. As they always say, the card's subject to change, right? But I can give you 2 matches that make a lot of sense in my head. The first is Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles, right? I think that's been every hardcore fan's dream since Nakamura signed with WWE. They're obviously given their Japan link, and They're two differing styles, but they can obviously go in the ring. The other match that's up in the air now, given Samoa Joe's injury, I thought would make a lot of sense, is Samoa Joe versus John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
Cena's a guy that really doesn't have a lot left to prove, obviously. He's done it all in the ring. He's taken on kind of a part-time role the last year or so, and you put him in the ring with Samoa Joe. Joe is a guy that's already pretty much teetering on that elite core roster of the main roster. Those elite guys are the main roster, but if you put him in a match with Cena, I think that makes a lot of sense for both guys. Cena can get one last hurrah against a nasty guy like Joe, and should Joe get a win, he has a great showing with Cena, and he's elevated to that status, that main event level, and he's just he can stay there for the rest of his career, which you'd assume isn't too much longer. So those are two matches that, in my head, would make a lot of sense. I'm not sure what they're planning, but those two would be home runs if they took place.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. And of course, the 25th anniversary of Monday Night Raw is coming up. What has been your favorite moment from a wrestling fan standpoint, as a wrestling fan, your whole life?
My whole life? Oh, man. There's a few. The first was, and this is going to be a little hypocritical, but Brock Lesnar's return. When he came back, that was huge, because I was growing up, I was a huge Brock Lesnar fan, and I always thought that he walked away, and when he walked away, you could tell that his heart wasn't in it anymore, but when he debuted, he just was red hot, man, and there was nothing like watching Lesnar wrestle, the speed, the power. He was everything. The only thing that he was missing was a mouthpiece, but when you put him with Paul Heyman, they were magic together. This latest run hasn't been too great. Considering his gimmick now as a destroyer, it's an ill fit. And my second moment had to be CM Punk's pipe bomb promo in 2011. Watching CM Punk in the Indies, you always knew what he was capable of, and he was another guy that was poorly booked by WWE for a long time. But when he spoke his mind that night on Raw, a month before Money in the Bank, it was just magic. And he said it's like having an itch on your back that you just can't reach. But he said everything that wrestling fans were thinking, or hardcore fans were thinking at the time. And that night and that whole run through Money in the Bank, that was just magic week after week with Punk and Cena. It just made so much sense. But if I had to boil it down to almost 27 years of wrestling fandom, those got to be the top two, and they're both fairly recent.
Yeah. See, this is what I love, the recent memories, because I'm only 17 years old, and I started watching wrestling when I was 9. So those moments are very in my recent memory. Of course, I had the WWE Network for only $9.99 a month, so I can go back and relive all the 25 years of Monday Night Raw. But those two, they're in my top 10, that's for sure.
They make a lot of sense, man. And honestly, there's a whole lot you can pick from. All the Stone Cold Steve Austin stuff, obviously, all the Rock stuff, Chris Jericho coming back, his return when he faced Randy Orton. Anything, you can pick from anything, but yeah, I mean, wrestling kind of slumped in the mid-2000s, but it picked up again recently, and you're just watching the evolution now of wrestling, and it's something to watch with all this new talent now. It's really, if everyone is booked right in the way they should be, there's going to be a lot of good stuff coming fans' way.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait. All right, Joe, thank you again for coming on my show today. Where can the fans follow you on Twitter and on social media to follow along the rest of the MLB offseason, and, of course, when we hit the road to WrestleMania?
Everyone can follow me on Twitter at Joe Rivera SN. That's Joe Rivera, S as in sports, N as in nation.
All right. Thank you so much again for coming on my show tonight. I greatly do appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. All right, Fusation, you just heard it from Joe Rivera from Sporting News. It has been a great show. I will be going live at 6:30 with JJ from Barstool Sports, very good friend of the show. We'll be talking some Yankees. We'll be talking some wrestling. Pretty much the same show, but it's JJ from Barstool Sports. You can't miss that one. All right, Fusation, I'll be back here live in just a few minutes. Come back then and be a subscriber of Fusion News. Thanks for watching, and I will be seeing you very soon. Thanks for watching.